Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with more swatches for you from Le Chat, but today I have their Metallux collection. Today I also have the perfect pairings where one is a gel, one is a lacquer. They're supposed to be the same color, just in a different formula. These are available right now, so in the description box below I will link the Le Chat site, I will link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from this collection. So we have 12 polishes to look at today, 6 gels and 6 lacquers, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Unicorn Tears, and this is an iridescent topper. The shimmer in here goes from like a green to a blue to a purple. Depending on what you layer it over, that's what it'll look like over darker colors, and then over lighter colors it'll look like pinky to a light blue. And then I do have their gel formula to show this in comparison. So here is Unicorn Tears, and here I'm using the lacquer, and over here I'm using the gel. I'm going to build it up on its own on these two nails, and then on the other nails I'm layering it over black. This has a really good formula. It doesn't reach full opacity on its own, but it is enough to distract from any visible nail line. It has a really good formula, no running or pulling. It doesn't stick to your nail when you're removing, and it doesn't dry textured, but you will want a nice glossy top coat, even though it does dry glossy either way. So there's one coat and 3 coats. Up next we have Siren Song, and this is a blue to purple multi-chrome. Those are the main shift colors, but it also does, at extreme angles, go to a gold and a green. Here's our first coat of Siren Song, and on my pinky and ring finger I'm using the lacquer, and then on my middle and index finger I'm using the gel. This one also has a really good formula. It does cover pretty well here on this first coat, but it's obviously not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. This one also dries fast on its own. As far as the lacquer goes, obviously the gel has to be cured, and it also dries very glossy on its own, though if you want it to last you will want a nice glossy top coat. I do find with the lacquer I do get about a week's worth of wear anyway, and the gel I haven't done a wear test on, but I have worn it for a few days with no chips on its own. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Narwhal, and this is another blue to purple, primarily multi-chrome, but this one also goes to a fuchsia shade, and then that same gold to green at extreme angles. But you can see next to Siren Song that they are different. The primary shade in Narwhal is the purple, but I do also have the gel formula to share with you today. Here's our first coat of Narwhal. This one's a little bit sheer here on this first coat, but it does build up. These multi-chromes are very opaque without needing to be layered over a black base. The gel in here is a little bit more opaque than the lacquer is, but they do build up to the same color. All of these in the gel and the lacquers do build up to be the same color, unlike the last video I did where there were color differences between the two formulas. Again, a good formula with no running, no pulling, no staining. With the gels though, I do feel like the shimmery particles in here are a little bit bigger than that in the lacquer. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Anubis, and this primarily goes from a green to a purple, but at extreme angles you can also see that red and that magenta. And then I do, once again, have the gel formula to share with you. Here's our first coat of Anubis, and this is very opaque here on this first coat. It is a little bit patchy still as far as the lacquer goes, and the gel is very, very opaque here on this first coat. The color shifting in these are very strong. Obviously with my lighting setup you are only going to see one color shift, but in my macros on Instagram I do show the color shift much better. So this is completely opaque in 2 coats, though it is very opaque in just one, and the gel is pretty much completely a 1-coater. Again, you'll want a nice glossy top coat to finish these off, even though they do dry decently glossy on their own. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Phoenix Rise, and this is a deep very pinky fuchsia to a gold multichrome, and then at extreme angles you do catch the glimpses of green, and I also have the gel. Here's our first coat of Phoenix Rise. This one's also pretty opaque here on this first coat. It is just a little bit sheer, so I am going to go in for a second coat, but again, another fantastic, easy to work with formula, zero formula complaints across the board here. Again, nothing runs, pulls, stains, anything like that. And again, this gel is almost a one coater for me. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in two coats again. The lacquer here could use a third coat to deepen the base color to match the color that is in the gel formula if you do super thin coats, but I was good on two. So there is two coats. And then lastly for today we have Dragon's Breath, and this one has the most color shifty properties. This one goes from like a bronzy to a gold to a green, and then the extreme angles you can catch those glimpses of blue and purple, and we have the gel to look at today as well. And here's our first coat of Dragon's Breath. And this one's a little bit sheer here on this first coat, but very opaque overall in the lacquer form, and in the gel form it is pretty much just a one coater again. Once again, a very easy to work with formula, no running, pooling, staining, anything of that sort. So here's our second coat, and this is completely opaque here on two coats. Again, you will want a nice glossy top coat to finish this off just for longevity and to make everything look nice, cohesive, and glossy. And nothing in these are going to dry textured or be difficult to remove across the board. So there is two coats. So my favorite of the lacquers is Unicorn Tears. This would look beautiful over everything. I didn't choose this as my favorite for the gel because I only have so many gels and I can't wear it as often, so I really like it in the lacquer formula. And then for the gels, Anubis is my favorite. Very opaque, very good formula, very beautiful color and color shift. So these are my favorites. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.